We're now down to the last several months of the Duterte administration. Can the president deliver on his promised economic reforms before the election fever fully kicks in? To talk to us about these prospects, we have with us Chris Nelson, Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Chris, good morning and good to have you again.
Yes, good morning, and good morning to you and all your viewers, and great to be back. Thank you.
You've lauded the progress of the RTLA among other bills. How many investors do you think might be able to enter the Philippine market with this Retail Trade Liberalization Act if minimum paid-up capital has been lowered to $500,000 instead of $2.5 million?
Yeah, look, first of all, we're very pleased with the progress. Obviously, there's a certified urgent bill. It's now with the president for his signature. And once that is signed into law, I think us and obviously the groups that have been supporting that will see a great opportunity. And I think I just want to emphasize a couple of points, if I may, Raine. One, the previous Retail Act, which was passed 20 years ago, I think it netted very little investment for the Philippines. In fact, it was like 0.7 was one of the studies of all FDI into the retail trade. So we can do much better than that. And I think what we will do with this, once it's signed into law, we already have lined up to promote it in the UK through our partners there, international trade advisors, various chambers. And it is a very significant reduction in the paid-in capital. So we are very optimistic. We're looking forward to this being signed. And it's also a clear signal to investors the move on economic liberalization, which we think is very important. So great progress and looking forward to seeing that signed. And we think we can promote this extensively in the UK through our partners and also working with the Department of International Trade and the Philippine Embassy in London and the Department of Trade and Investment, which is headed there by Michel Sanchez. So, yes, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Chris, what methods do you think, in terms of investment, what methods do you think would reverse recent findings that the Philippines is among the least attractive FDI destinations in the Asia-Pacific region? Do you even agree with that finding of the report of the Oxford Economics?
Well, the Oxford Economics is a respected body. Let me first of all talk about what needs to be done. And the key, of course, first of all, is to pass those three bills. So let me just repeat. That's the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, which we expect signed very soon. That's the Foreign Investment Act, and it's the Public Service Act. So it's economic liberalization, but it's also going to be coupled with some other points. One, the continued infrastructure program, the Build. I think it's very important for the Philippines. It's also very important that the digital economy continues to be part of. I saw your last, obviously, interview with the previous stockbroker and the emphasis of everything going online. So digitalization in terms of process, in terms of approvals, and also in terms of approvals. Let me talk about that. I think that the Philippines, and we were great supporters of the passing of the anti-red tape law, that's got to increase to see, obviously, transactions and people being able to set up. So linking it back to how many companies coming in, of course, is also the ease of doing business. So it's a combination of those. Do I share all the views? No. I mean, I think one of my respected colleague, John Forbes, obviously mentioned the fact that the infrastructure spend in comparison doesn't look strange in comparison, obviously, with Vietnam. So we do think there's a lot of opportunity in the Philippines. But to be fair to the Oxford Economic Group, they have highlighted those key points, which is, as we've noted before, economic liberalization. Pass those bills, and I think that would go a long way.
Right. Well, Chris, meanwhile, the United Kingdom is considering joining the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for a Trans-Pacific Partnership, what was former the TPP. But you believe that before the Philippines can fully benefit from that CPTPP, Manila must first enact those reforms, such as the Foreign Investment Act. Are there others that we need to make it happen before we actually fully open up?
Look, I think those are a key precondition. I mean, the UK, as you rightly said, is looking at CPTPP. And obviously, it's a very important economic trading bloc. And also, it's been noted by Secretary Lopez, also by the Board of Investments, that this is a key thing to move in. And obviously, if the Philippines is able to join this trading bloc, it will be a great benefit to the manufacturing sector and to SMEs and SMEs overall for the manufacturing trading opportunities. So, yes, we warmly welcome that opportunity for the Philippines to move into that trading bloc. And clearly, signing these three bills, and we are very optimistic, as we've discussed, obviously the Retail Trade Act should be the first, and thereafter the Foreign Investment Act, the Public Service Act, is a key precondition. And therefore, we in the British Chamber will welcome, obviously, the UK joining. And of course, it would be great then to have the Philippines, as noted by the Secretary of Trade and Investment himself, Secretary Lopez.
On to another topic, Chris. The Philippines has been removed from the UK's red list, but the UK is still not in the green list of the Philippines. So vaccinated and negative tested travelers from the UK still would need to be quarantined. What does this mean for both the tourism of both countries? And relatedly, it seems that the international certificate of vaccination of the Philippines still isn't enough. It seems the UK recommendation is still for us to get a digital vaccination certificate. How much difference would that make?
Well, look, first of all, it's great news that obviously the Philippines has now moved off the UK red list. Let's not forget, it was estimated there are over 200,000 Filipinos in the UK. So that will obviously improve travel and opportunities. And that's very good. It started as of the 11th of October. With regard to the UK being on the yellow list, the UK, Europe, and the US are actually on the yellow list. And obviously, it would be great in terms of travel and the boost to the travel industry and the hotel sector and all involved, if obviously they would look again. I'm sure they are looking again at those countries that can move from the yellow list into the green list for the Philippines. You make a reference to the vaccination. I think you're talking about the VaxCert Philippines. The UK has been very clear. It's going through phases. So obviously it recognizes, first of all, the four main vaccines that have been utilized. Obviously, one of those is AstraZeneca, one of our main members. But also the UK has said it will consider, and I think it will look at, of course, other vaccines which WHO has approved. So I think it's a question of time and phases. So to summarize, these are great moves. One, very important to note that the Philippines is now not on the red list with the UK. And number two, yes, I think there are great opportunities. And you make a reference to tourism. Tourism is contributes over 10% to the Philippine economy. Now, at the moment, there is no tourists or foreign tourists, but obviously long-term visitors, business people. So with these changes, we see an opportunity to assist and grow for the airlines, for the hotel sector, and obviously all related sectors. So, yes, very encouraging moves, and obviously we warmly welcome, and we congratulate the IATF making those decisions, and at the same time, obviously, would look at them, looking at the yellow list countries, I said UK, Europe, and US, moving into the green list.
Right, Chris, we don't have much time anymore, but perhaps in a capsule, the last time we had spoken, you and the new British ambassador to the Philippines, Laura Bolfis, were just about to meet, and now you have. What have been the initial impressions? Were there marching orders or like urgent course of businesses that had been relayed between you two?
Well, it's very good. First of all, it was a warm welcome. It was an event with HSBC. She obviously marked the fact this is 75 years of our diplomatic relations with the Philippines, that we have strong ties with the Philippines in terms of education, infrastructure, and health. And also, of course, she said there's been great progress made. And she reiterated, which we've started the discussion, so I'll end with it, the need also to pass the three bills. We discussed extensively the Retail Trade Act, Foreign Investment Act, and, of course, the Public Service Act. I'm sure it should be a great addition. It was a great event, and I think what shows here is it's just going to restore and continue to grow the very strong ties that currently exist between the UK and the Philippines. And I'm sure Ambassador Beaufils will actually continue to do that, and she's made a very good impression. And we look forward to working with her and doing that together.
Lots of progress if everybody just cooperates. Chris Nelson of British Chamber of Commerce Philippines, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much indeed, and I wish you and all your viewers a very good day. Thank you.
You too, and stay safe. And that's it for the